You guys could probably come back to my house for a little bit if you want, for like an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, sure, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Alyssa, can you just text my mom? My phone's in between the
sure.
seats.
What do you want me to say?
My password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not a good password
Okay.
whatsoever. Just say,
Do you mind if like a few people come?
Yeah, just say on our way back from Harry's, can a few kids stay till like 11:30.
Okay.
That's it. Should be fine.
Oh yeah, true, Colin. Thank you for driving us. Do you want us to like chip in for gas or anything?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
I
have
have
money.
some
It's kind of
Yeah,
far
just
ride.
Okay.
Thanks.
I remember one time when I was driving on this road, I saw a fox.
Oh.
It ran across the street.
Did you hit it?
No, I did not. I did not
good.
hit it. I pulled over. I tried taking pictures.
Imagine if you actually hit it.
That would not be fun.
Speaking of this road though, like it's so sad when you're driving, you see the Murphy sister crosses.
yeah.
That's so
Like
true.
it's so sad.
It just it freaks me out.
Yeah.
That's so true. Oh, is anyone going to the game on Saturday?
Oh. Yeah, I want to go.
Yeah, I wanted to. I should ask my mom first.
What time is it?
I don't know. I think it's like 7.
7?
Is there a spirit day?
Is it home?
Maybe black.
I know it's home. I know that.
Well, we should all go together.
We should.
Yeah,
That'd be
you
so
want it?
fun,
I don't know
guys.
if
I
I
love
can-
that.
I don't know if I can make it. I might have volleyball that day, but I can let you guys know.
Yeah, let us know.
How's the team going this year?
We're pretty good actually. I think.
good.
Yeah.
Colin, oh wait, my phone's about to die. Do you have a charger?
Yeah, Alyssa, it's in my bag,
Yeah.
like right back there, right behind
Okay.
your seat. Can you just unbuckle real quick? and
Yeah,
grab
sure.
it?
I'll try to find it.
Colin, what's this?
Oh my god, Nick, your eyes are so red. How much did you smoke?
A lot, but it's fine. I drive better when I'm high. I'm just more relaxed.
Hey, Catherine, can you look in the back and see how many water bottles we have left? I drank like half mine at the party we were just at, and I'm not running out tonight. I see like 2 bottles back here, but we still have a handle of vodka left too.
Oh, shoot, Lauren. How much do I owe you for alcohol tonight?
It's fine. You're driving us to all these parties, and you bought us weed, so we'll call it even. Does anyone have a lighter? I'm gonna have so much more fun if I'm drunk and high.
Yeah, I got one. Here you go.
Thanks.
If you're getting crossed, then I am too. Lauren, when you're done with the Svedka handle, can I have some?
Yeah, sure. Want me to plug in the GPS while we're going? What's Jason's address?
Yeah, 102 Northborough Road, Southborough. I hope there's people there and it's not just a bunch of Hudson randos.
Yeah. Oh, last time Jason had a party, the music sucked too. Not to mention it got shut down after like 15 minutes.
Turn left.
Nick, turn left up here. God, Nick, be careful. You almost hit us into a friggin' tree.
Catherine, we're fine. You should see how fast I take that turn when I'm sober. I told you, I'm an even better driver when I'm high.
Lauren, you're like barely even drunk right now. I think you need a shot.
Take a shot. Take a shot.
I drank like half my water bottle at the other party, but I guess cheers to party number 2. Woo! While I'm at it, hand me the bowl. Got it. Nick, you need to slow down. You're doing like 50 in a 25. If you get pulled over, we're all screwed. If the cops called my parents and said I was crossfaded, you'd never see me again. That's true. Keep following this road for like 4 miles, and Jason's house is on your left.
Facts.
God, I hate driving by the Murphy sister crosses. Kind of freaks me out, especially at night. Okay, one more hit and I think I'm done on the weed. I'm starting to feel it. Wait, whoa, Nick!
Oh, God!
What's happening back there? My bag hurts. My head and everything's spinning. I can't see anything. There's nothing left. Nick, are you okay?
Just relax. Holy shit. 130. I'm gonna be off Bartlett Street. Accident, multiple injuries. Send EMS, send fire. You guys all right? Just stay where you are. You all right?
It's gonna be okay.
You all right? You all right? Stay where you guys are. Just stay where you are. I need fire. I need EMS and start the detectives. You guys all right? Stay right where you are. Stay right where you are. I got ambulance coming, all right? Are you stuck? 132. I got entrapment. I got about 8 injured, some critical. You guys, can you get out? Can you get out? All right, get out.
Please
Get out. Let the fire know the car is on fire. The car is on fire. Have a seat right over here.
Oh my
Let's
gosh,
go.
it's
Are you okay? Just have a seat right over there.
Holy
You got? Can you get out?
Move. No.
Get out. Can you get out?
I can't. We're stuck.
All right, we got entrapment. Hello. All right, guys, don't panic. Breathe through your nose. All right, breathe through your nose. What hurts?
I can't feel my legs.
All right, stay right where you are. I got the ambulance coming. Hello.
Oh my God.
We have critical injuries. Please help me! If you can get out, okay. Can you get out of the car? Can you get out? If you can get out of the car. Get out of the car. Hey, step up the ambulance. Let's go. Step them up. Can you get out, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, get out. Go over there. Can you get out? Are you stuck? I can't move. All right, stay right there. Breathe through your nose, all right?
Holy sh**.
Mutual aid, start mutual aid. I got about 8. I know, get out of the car. Get over there. Get out of the car. Go sit over there. Over there, do it now. Let's go. You guys, breathe through your nose. All right, breathe through your nose and out through your mouth.
It hurts, please.
Hello.
Lauren.
Hello. Have the ambulance go to the black car first.
Two passenger vehicles head on.
We got critical, not breathing.
Multiple occupants in the
Hello?
vehicle with entrapment.
Hello? All right, you guys need to concentrate. Breathe through your nose, out through your mouth. I got the ambulance coming right now. All right, the ambulance is coming on scene right now. You guys stay tight, all right? Everything's going to be okay. You guys, everything's going to be all right. Just stay right where you are, all right? Stay right over there. Don't move. What's your name? Okay, what's your name? Lauren. All right, Lauren, do me a favor. Try to work on your breathing, all right? We got major injuries right in that car. She's in entrapment. We got 2 trapped there, 1 trapped here, and serious injury in the front seat.
Okay, thank you.
132. Get the detectives rolling. Get the detectives rolling. Get me a PBT.
Get me out of here.
Make sure that road's blocked off over there.
Can't move
Keep
it off.
everyone out of this area right now.
Just a minute, okay?
Keep everyone out. No one
You
in.
all right?
Lauren, everything's going to be all right. All right, they're going to get you out of here.
Can I
Okay?
call the rescue?
I know it does. You just got to work on your breathing. Okay? Work on your breathing. Damn it.
Rescue, you start on the black car.
Now, okay,
We got
okay,
three
we're
entrapped
gonna
in
get
that
her out.
one.
You guys got to do me a favor. Let these guys
we
do
have to
their work.
remove one from
All
the
right,
front
let them
seat
do
to
their
get
work.
to the two
Just
in the
slide
back.
down a little bit.
That's
All
on the
right.
passenger
Were
side.
you driving? Okay, what happened? Real quick.
You all right in here? No, that hurts.
He's in the back seat. He's still in the back seat.
Okay, he's fine.
And then
Okay.
we're going
Okay.
around.
Help, please.
And then they just,
Okay.
I don't know,
You think you can walk?
Okay. Who'd you hit? Do you know the
Okay,
person
we'll
you
get you
hit?
right out. Just a
I
minute.
didn't see.
Okay. All right. Do you know the girl's name in the front seat? Alyssa. What's her last name?
Mawson.
Is she from? Okay. We can get. Can we get in touch with her family? You have a cell phone? Is that
We got
okay?
one
Can we get in
deceased
touch
the
with her
front
family
seat
somehow?
over here.
All right, we'll work on it. All right. You guys, the
One
ambulance is going to
deceased
tend to
here,
you. Stay
two
right here. They're
trapped
here
in
now.
back.
All right.
So we're gonna have to move this one to get those 2 out. So I'll have these guys pop the door. If one of you guys want to
What's going
stay
on?
here,
I don't know what's
keep an
happening.
eye
I don't
on
know what
that.
happened.
The other wants to go check
I
out that
don't
one.
know what happened.
That
I
one's
was
complaining
driving
of serious injuries as
Who else?
well.
Who was
She's
in the
also
front
gonna be
seat with you?
entrapped, so we'll cut that one out
Catherine
next,
was.
okay?
Catherine, where is she now? Down there?
Yeah, she's sitting down there.
Yeah. No pulse on the
Fuzzy,
one in
send
the front
Catherine
seat.
down here with me. Send her down here. Catherine. Her name's Catherine.
So in the black car, we got one deceased in the front seat. We're gonna have to move to
You gotta
get
come
out
down
of the
here. You
way.
gotta come down here. Stay down here.
Doors
They're gonna
pinned.
treat you down
And then
here,
we've got
okay?
2
You guys
that
stay down
are
there.
alert and oriented in the back, but with serious orthopedic injuries.
So we got major
and
injury. Get the
them out.
detectives
After
rolling.
we're
One
done cutting them
possibly
out, we got
DOA.
one in the
DOA.
other vehicle.
All right, so tell me what's going on.
I don't know. We were just driving and
They
we
call
made the
fire.
turn, and I didn't see them, and everything just happened so fast.
On
and I started
track.
praying,
Yeah, I know you're shaking.
Rescue's
Take some
working
deep
on
breaths. Breathe in
extrication
through your nose,
of
out through your
3
mouth. Talk to her. Get her
from
story.
vehicle
What's
1.
going on?
We got another
so
victim
you're
trapped
driving.
in
Where-
vehicle 2.
We're just coming
That
from
we're
a
going to get
friend's
to
house.
next. I
I don't
got
know.
EMTs
I don't know
attending
what
to all of
happened.
them.
Okay.
It just happened so fast.
Okay. All right. Listen. They're gonna. We got good fire department, good rescues. Really hard. They're working on them. You gotta just stay calm. I know it's easier said than done, right? We're gonna
Yeah, but
let
we
them
don't
do their
need
work,
anything.
and then we'll talk to you. All right? So you hang tight right over here. Don't go anywhere. All right? What's your first name?
Nick.
All right, Nick.
Get me out of here, please.
Yeah. Even if we have to roll one off once we get in there. What? No, we'll put
What's your
put
last
one in
name,
a
hon?
stretcher. We'll just take them off
Okay.
and bring
Do
it
you
back
want
to
us
the
to
board.
call your parents? All right. They're going to take care of you, all right? Okay, you're going to be okay. You're nothing to be sorry about. You didn't do anything wrong, all right? We're going to help you out, all right? These guys are good
How
guys.
you
Just
doing over
listen
there?
to them, all right? We're going to take care of you, all right? You're doing great.
You just keep an eye on her for a couple minutes, and then we'll just make sure she stays awake. Let me know if she doesn't, and we'll get that door cut in a minute.
Buzzy, go. Hey, go keep the media back. Get them out of here. What's your last name? Okay, you from Northborough or Southborough? Okay, do you remember what happened before the accident? Where are you guys coming from? Things like that? Okay. Okay, okay. Do you know the people in the other car, the black car? You do? Okay. Okay, all right. Oh, we don't know. They got a great fire department right now. They're gonna work on her. They're gonna get her to the hospital, and they're gonna do the best they can with her right now. Okay? I'm not gonna lie. There's serious injuries right now. Okay? But you gotta stay strong. Okay? Stay strong. Nick, stay off your phone. No calls right now. We don't need anyone else down here.
How long do you think before we can get them out? Okay, very good.
Buzzy, front seat of my car. Grab an evidence bag. Front seat.
Yep. We'll just take that blanket off for now. and
No,
then,
Buzzy, sorry. Front seat, my evidence bag.
Yep.
Should be in that car. Yeah, take the whole thing.
Give me a calling file on. Rescue's gained access to car 1. We're moving victims now.
Just hold that over there. Put
We
it
can
on top of my
notify
car
the
for
ME
now.
office. We're going to have one for them.
Received. Notifying the medical examiner for location. Any additional resources needed?
Who's the driver of that car? Do you know
We're
his
going to
name?
stop cutting on the second car right now.
No, the other car.
We just need another ambulance if you have
Okay,
one available.
Colin. All right. All right. Okay. You're friends with these guys, right?
Yeah, we're school.
Yep.
Okay.
Victim report,
Where you
I
guys
can't
coming
move
from?
my legs. From Buddy's house.
Buddy's house. Okay. All right. Well, just again, I'm going to talk to you right after they're done doing their thing. I'm going to talk to you. Okay. Hang tight. Hang tight.
Hey.
Okay. Just
All right,
continue to
come
hang
on.
tight.
Come over
Okay.
here. Come over
We got
here.
more
Come
officers
over
coming
here.
on their way. All right.
Can you just take her, please?
We're a little short to that. She's just having a hard time getting out. That's just going to use to get her out of the car. That's all. Okay. It's
Okay.
not going to hurt her or anything
If we
like
can go
that.
sit
Okay.
her just out of the way somewhere, away from the other one. Let me get you a blanket to sit on.
Colin, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? All right, take a deep breaths, all right? Take deep breaths, all right? Just concentrate on
another
your breathing
ambulance
right now,
coming for
okay?
her.
All right. What's your last name, bud?
Oh.
Arnett.
Hey, how you doing, pal?
And this is
can't
your
move my
car, right?
legs.
Okay.
And
All right,
if I
the
got the
guys are
story
coming right
straight
now
from
to
Nick,
get
you
you out of
guys
here,
left the
okay?
house in Southborough, you're heading to like Northborough or something, or vice versa?
Yeah. With this one out, they're cutting on that one.
All right. Okay.
Come here on file on. Rescue's working on the second car now.
Okay, did you guys leave the house at the same time from Southborough?
Almost.
Yeah, you guys left and then, okay. But you guys were at the same house, is that correct?
No, they were.
Okay.
You guys need anything over
You
here?
haven't been drinking, have you?
No,
Okay, good. All right. Don't worry
Yeah, I
about
was
her.
waiting on the
Focus
second
me.
ambulance for that
Focus
one.
on me. Focus on me. All right. Stay right where you are. You're good. Your face is just a little cut up, but other than that, I think you're going to be okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. No, you got to stay back. You got to stay back. All right. You got to stay back. Can I call your parents for you? What? Can I call your parents?
No,
Okay.
just my
Do they live in
legs and my
Southborough or
arm.
Northborough? Northborough? Okay. We're going to call
feel
your
it.
parents, let them know you're going to be transported to the hospital, okay?
Chris, can we
Everything's
get
going to
the
be all
board
right.
in under his butt?
Yep.
All right.
It's probably going to be better with him to go out
Head first. You spin the stretcher around. Hand.
Guys, if you see any
You can get
visible
me his
alcohol in
upper
there, try not to touch it. I don't know. I saw one bottle, but
Coming up.
I can slide forward.
Yeah, hold on a second, Rob. Just make sure your strap's not going to be all in the way.
I got one on him.
Okay.
hey, Evan, is your dad home so I can call him?
Yes.
All right. I'll call him, let him know you're going to UMass, all right? You're going to be okay, bud. Hang in there, all right?
Perfect.
Okay. I can hold you.
16.
Yeah, I'll get it in a sec, yeah. I got a blanket here, Ron. Commander, fire on. You got that there? All the victims have been removed from car 1, getting extricated in the ambulance. We're working
Okay, we're getting
on
them
the victim
going.
in
These
car
guys
2
are going to
now.
get out of here in a minute. Okay, they're doing okay.
I'll get you a stretcher and a board in just a second, okay?
Relax, relax, relax. All
So
right?
if we could just get this
I
one
know there's a lot going
off
on right now. You just gotta
onto the
relax.
bench, and then we'll
All the way
grab
up,
that second
Dougie?
one.
How much did you have to drink? Just be honest.
One more time.
Okay. Smoke anything like that? All right. All right. All right. You were in the front seat, right? All right. Listen, we're
You
gonna
got
take
greens,
you.
Chris.
All you got is a little scratch. You're gonna be okay, all right? Your other friends, we're gonna get them to the hospital right now, all right?
We'll just take it with the board and everything right back out.
132. Let the detectives know we have serious injury. We're gonna need a crime
How's that?
scene set up.
So we've got all the victims out of vehicle 1.
Okay, great.
One's getting transported, one's on the ground over there.
Okay.
We're getting the victims out of the second car now. There's only one left. They're gonna go in the same ambulance.
I noticed the first guy, the black guy, I didn't see any alcohol, anything out of the ordinary, but this car, I'm seeing obvious signs that there's alcohol, some marijuana, things to that nature. So we'll take it from here. As soon as you guys clear out, you guys be okay, and we'll take it over as a crime scene. Okay?
Give you about 10 minutes
Great.
and we should be all set.
Thanks, guys.
Stretcher's coming right now. They already grabbed the. Might have to go around all the tools. Go around the tools.
All right, just look. Nick, you got to stay back, brother. You got to stay back, dude. I know. Listen, I got to stay
guys all
back.
set?
It's not going to help her. You got to sit back. All right, you got to sit down. You got to sit down. Sit down. Okay. All right, relax.
All the victims have been removed from the vehicles.
Okay, they're all out. They're going to get to the hospital.
Rescue's going to start working on the hazards. Will be available on scene.
Officer Buzzell. Buzzy. Come here. Come with me, okay? All right, you're okay. We're just going to put some bandages on that, all right? You're going to go with the officer right here, okay? At the moment, you're not in custody, okay? You're going to be brought back to the police station. We'll have your parents meet you there. This is just a couple scratches. You're going to be okay, all right? You're going to go with this officer, and wherever your cruiser is, you can put her in there, okay? They're out of there. Nick, come over here, please. Yes, please. All right, listen, be straight with me, all right? Have you been drinking?
I mean, no, sir.
It's either yes or no. It's not yes. It's a yes or no. Listen, hold off on that, all right? Hold off on answering that. Listen, I already found vodka in the car. I mean, it was either your passenger or you, or, I mean, I can smell it on your breath. You're a little uneasy on your feet. Just be upfront with me. What's going on?
I had a little bit a while ago, sir.
Okay,
but,
like what?
Like,
What'd you have?
I had a little bit of vodka a little while ago.
Okay, what's a little?
Like 2 or 3 shots, 4 shots, I don't remember.
Okay, so that's more than a little.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
We smoked a little bit.
Like what, how much?
Like
a bowl or what?
Yeah, just like a bowl.
You guys out for a burn ride, a little sesh, just going, and then going back to Northborough.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we think you're okay to drive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Listen, we're going to put you through a series of field sobriety tests to confirm that you're okay to drive, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, first one is called the 9-step walk and turn. You're going to listen as I walk you through these instructions. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Buzzy, stand over there, all right? All right, first one, you're going to start with your left foot in front of your right foot.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're going to take 9 heel-to-toe steps in a straight line.
Yeah.
You're going to count each step out loud, and you're going to walk back taking 9 steps. You understand those instructions?
Yes, sir.
All right, watch as I demonstrate.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Watch, I said. 5,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9. After 9 steps, you're going to walk back 9 steps, counting each step out loud with your hands by your side. You understand my instructions?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Which foot you said in front?
Right foot in front of your left foot.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Go ahead, continue.
5.
Okay, next step is the one-legged stand. You're going to choose the foot of your choice, right or left. You're going to point your toes to the sky. You're going to count to 30 by 1,000s. I'm going to demonstrate the test, then you're going to perform the test. So listen and watch, and then you're going to perform. Do you understand those instructions?
Yes, sir.
What's your last name?
Hatton.
Oh, you got a brother, Tyler?
Yes, sir.
I know him. Okay. Hands by your side.
Yeah.
You're going to 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000. You're going to count to 30. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're going to lift that foot approximately 9 inches off the ground.
All right.
You can start whenever you're ready.
1, 2, 3.
Nick, put your foot down. Did you understand my instructions? It's by 1,000s, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and your hands are by your side.
Yes,
you
sir.
seem like a good kid. I want to give you another opportunity.
Yes,
Listen
sir.
to my instructions. You can start.
Yes,
Go.
sir. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000.
Next test is a horizontal gaze nystagmus test. What you're going to do, you're going to follow my finger with your eyes. You're not going to move your head. Stand over here, okay? You're not going to move your head. You're going to keep your head still. All you're going to do is follow my finger with your eyes.
Yes, sir.
So, like, put your head on a pole, basically. Don't move your head. Do you understand those instructions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, follow my finger. What did I say about your head, buddy?
Don't move it, sir.
Okay, let's try it again. Keep your head still. All right, what do you think you had to drink tonight? Be real.
I don't know, a couple beers, a couple shots.
Okay, nobody has a couple beers. I have never met one person that said a couple beers. How many beers did you have?
I don't remember, sir. Like,
Okay. More than 2?
yes, sir.
Okay. And you had a couple shots and you
sir.
smoked some weed.
Yes, sir.
What is it like what's that called? Something like, I don't know.
Sir?
I don't know, never mind. All right. Final test. You're going to take this portable breathalyzer test, okay? It's just going to determine how much alcohol is in your system. It has nothing to do with your license status. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're going to blow like you're blowing up a balloon.
Yes, sir.
Go. Good. All right, we're going to take them. All right, hey, do me a favor. Take a deep breath. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for operating under the influence. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to read you your rights. Do you understand? Nick, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you at no expense.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand your rights?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. You're going to go off in that cruiser, and we'll see you back at the station.
All right.
So that's it, guys. We're done. I know for some of you that might have had absolutely no impact, but I think there's at least, I bet, more than a handful of you that it did have an impact. So if it touched one person, then I'm glad we came out and did this, okay? Some people might be laughing, but most were silent, and I appreciate that. Real quick, just to summarize what happened out here. Obviously, as you can see, 2-car motor vehicle crash, serious injury, 9+ people or eight people in both cars combined. Typically, it's the officer that we're going to get the 911 call of a serious crash, and it's usually one officer who arrives first on scene at something like this. It's not like we have 3. Okay, yeah, you can get up. Hold on. Forgot about her. Good job. I forgot about you. Good job, good job.
That doesn't happen in real life, kids.
So back to the crash. So we have one officer that's going to arrive to this absolute cluster, right? Where it's a complete you know what, right? And it's like, oh my God, what do I do as the first responding officer? Where you have multiple injuries, you have, I could tell, one fatality, you got a bunch of kids going crazy, like they would in this situation, people going into shock. It's a horrific event. Obviously, we call the men and women who do their best to save these lives, the firefighters and paramedics, let them do their work to remove the bodies from the vehicle. Obviously, we had 3 people trapped, right? 2 in the back in this car, and the girl in the back in this car. So this whole scene took about 20 minutes. In this time, real life, it probably would have taken a little longer, right? We have a lot to deal with in a situation like this, right? Because you have other people coming from that party that are going to stumble upon this, right? You got press starting to show up. You got parents starting to show up. And look, there's probably 8 of us working to deal with all of this. It's really a difficult situation, one that we've all been a part of, okay, at late at night, things like that. We've all been a part of it in our careers. And we're going to talk more about that. So when the bodies or the victims have been removed, brought to the hospital, obviously we have one fatality. We now have a crime scene. That's why I was calling for detectives. Clearly somebody died. That's now a crime, okay? Nick, you know, it was pretty obvious. I mean, there was obvious signs of alcohol in the car. It stunk like alcohol, stunk like weed. We knew right off the bat that this was probably some sort of drunk driving or OUI crash. So we then have to deal with him and that aspect of it. So you saw that at the end. You saw him going to jail. The other girl who got taken off in the cruiser, we'll talk about her in a little bit. Are we going to arrest her in that situation? Probably not, right? We got so much other things to deal with. But, you know, first of all, we're going to talk more inside in a minute. I think if you could give the first responders and all your classmates and your teachers a round of applause for putting this together.
My name is Ms. Hotchkin, for those of you who don't know me, and this is Mrs. Haberman, both guidance counselors, and I'm one of the co-advisors for TASK, which is Take Action, See Change. I have our co-presidents of TASK here, Kimmy Skinner and Olivia Trong, and they're just going to speak briefly about TASK, and then they're going to introduce our wonderful officers here. Okay?
Hello everyone, I'm Olivia and this is Kimmy, and we are TASK, or Take Action See Changes, and we are a club here at Algonquin that empowers young adults to successfully confront the risks and pressures that challenge them throughout their daily lives.
So we'd like to thank the fire and police departments for everything that they've done for us. And so we'd like to introduce Fire Captain Mark Sadowski and Rob Tev and Detective Sergeant Brian Griffin.
We'll give you guys the mic. How about that? Hi, guys. So without all of them, this never would happen. So I guess for Captain Sadowski, he's part of the Southborough Fire Department. As first responders, what do you see causing the most accidents? Would you say it's texting, speeding, under the influence, all of the above? What have been your experience?
Yes, it's all of the above. Texting and distracted driving has become far more prevalent in the last 10 years. It is every day. We see it, we're working car accidents on the side of the road, car fires, and people, drivers, passengers, everybody has their phone stuck to the window. They're not watching where they're going, they're watching what we're doing, and we watch people smash into each other all the time while we're already working an accident. There's another one behind us, another one next to us. We're jumping out of the road to try not to get run over. People are very, very distracted by their phones. After dark, at night, when all the creatures come out, when everyone should be in bed, we spend an awful lot of time dealing with drug and alcohol-involved accidents, both in automobiles and at home and out and about. People tend to be on their worst behavior after dark. So,
thank you. And because this, we did a simulation of all of this, What would you hope that our wonderful juniors would take away from this experience based on your many years of working in our community and all?
We were in your shoes not too many years ago. I remember sitting through the same program at my high school, looking at, we actually had, there wasn't a demonstration outside. We watched videos put on by the police department in the auditorium, and the pictures were horrific. You know, now with so many horror movies and things like that, we're desensitized to a lot of it, but it is very, very real. Some of you are going to get arrested for driving under the influence. Some of you are probably going to get seriously injured or possibly killed in a vehicle accident. So this is very real. If you don't know somebody that's been involved in this, you probably will before you become an adult. You know, we are the people you see every day. For those of you that live in Southborough, you pass me on the streets all the time. For those of you in Northborough and passing through the towns, we are the guys you see on the side of the road and that you pass at night and that pull you out of the cars. And this is 100% real. So I know a lot of it seemed to be simulated. It's kind of funny to see your friends up there acting it out, which they did a phenomenal job of acting. I can't tell you how realistic that really was. And even the greeting at the end, totally realistic. You know, there's a lot of blame to be had from a lot of people when these events take place. There's a lot of grief, a lot of emotion, and this doesn't involve your families yet. Imagine what it's like when your mother and father show up and one of their children's friends or their child is laying dead on the side of the street, and their child is on their way to the hospital, and they don't know if they're alive or not. It's extremely stressful on friends, family, everybody involved. You know, it's even hard for us. We deal with this stuff. We see you in your homes when we come there for various things, hopefully not of a serious nature. And then if the next time we see you, something horrific has happened, it's difficult for us too. So just keep that in mind when you're making your decisions.
To echo a lot of what Mark said, you know, as a first responder, I also live here in Northborough and have my son graduated last year, and I have a daughter that's still here. I know a lot of you. I've maybe dealt with yourselves or your families or your neighbors and things like that. And one of the most profound things as a first responder that when I go to these fatal accidents is that I know before anybody else lives are being ruined and they don't even know. Your parents don't even know yet. Your friends don't even know yet. That as a first responder, that's probably one of the most profound things that we deal with is we know lives are being changed forever. Communities can be shaken to their core. We've seen that here in Northborough, and it's played out all across Massachusetts and this country. So, you know, my goal today is just to give you a little bit of insight through the demonstration that we did and hope that, you know, when you're put in a situation to make the correct decision and help a friend when they shouldn't get behind the wheel, call an ambulance if somebody needs help, call your parents, call somebody to get you help so that something tragic doesn't unfold, that you maybe could have made a difference and put something on a different path. But I thank you for your attention, and thank you for the students for putting this on. They did a phenomenal job, and I was glad to be part of it today. Thank you.
So, Detective Sergeant Griffin, am I doing that right, or is it Sergeant Detective Griffin? I never know. You know, you and I go back a long way, but luckily he's never arrested me.
Not yet.
Yet, anyway. Given what we saw with Nick, what, for these kids, because a lot of them, you know, they saw it played out, but what really would somebody like Nick be faced with in terms of the whole legal aspects of this kind of driving under the influence?
So as I said outside, you know, we let these gentlemen do their work, and then it becomes our job to determine what happened and what was the cause of the accident. It was an accident. Nick clearly didn't go out that night with the intentions of killing someone, right? But like any accident, it can be prevented. So initially, it was pretty obvious to us, based off of his sobriety test, based off of his admission, and based off of the evidence found in the car, that we had an issue of OUI. Now in Massachusetts, we refer to operating under the influence as OUI. Other parts of the country, you've probably heard DWI or DUI, but in Massachusetts, it's operating under the influence. Notice I didn't put alcohol or drugs. We add that on after. It's operating under the influence. So that's what he's initially charged with. We're then going to figure out what it is that he was on. In this case, it was a cross between alcohol and marijuana. So OUI is OUI. You drive impaired, that's what you get charged with. Impairment's an impairment. So often today, and the captain spoke about the texting, and I absolutely back him on that. We see it every day. But we're seeing more and more OUI drug cases than ever before. We've arrested so many people recently in our towns for OUI marijuana. It's not taken seriously. People who smoke weed think it's okay to get behind the car, and you're impaired. And I don't understand it. We've done so much work over the past 20 years to educate people on don't drink and drive. I mean, when I grew up here, that was stressed, right? Don't drink and drive. But you're not getting enough of don't smoke and drive. If you're impaired, you're impaired. Now, it's harder to prove impairment because of marijuana or drugs. It's a lot harder to prove, but all we need is reasonable suspicion that he's under the influence of a drug. We don't really have to show a lot of proof, okay? We don't really have to show a lot of that proof. Let the courts figure it out. But for us to make an arrest, we don't need to show a lot. We just need to show he's impaired, and we do that by the sobriety test, things like that. So to answer your question, he's charged initially with the OUI, alcohol and drugs. Clearly, when we get the report back from the fire department that Evan has a spinal cord injury, he's not going to be walking, and the other girl passed away, obviously that now gets bumped up to motor vehicle homicide. So you got what started out as an OUI charge, which is a misdemeanor. Okay, now you're bumping it up to a homicide charge. Again, he had no intentions of killing that girl that night, right? No intentions. So now he's faced with that. And obviously with that, not only are a lot of lives ruined, as the captain said, his life is completely ruined. He won't be driving for 15 years on an OUI homicide case. A straight OUI without the homicide. So he's under 21. Let's say there wasn't an accident today, but we stopped him, and he's been smoking weed or drinking, and we lock him up for an OUI alcohol. Okay, he's going to lose his license for upwards of 3 years being under the age of 21. Okay, 15 years because he killed someone, $5,000 fine, and due to the result of someone dying, he's probably going to spend a little bit of time in prison, upwards of 2.5 years, all for something that could have been prevented.
And speaking of that, what would, for Catherine and Lauren, who are also under the influence in that car, is there anything that would happen to them?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think in the big picture, right? I mean, we have a major fatality here. Clearly, our focus is going to be to Nick, the person who actually caused the harm here. I mean, we're gonna deal with them. As I said, we took Catherine. Yeah, we took Catherine back to the station. You know, she had alcohol. It was, we might try to figure out who supplied Nick with the alcohol. Something like that, but clearly there's pending charges for Catherine.
And for, say, Nick's parents or even Catherine's parents, is there legal aspects for them, financial aspects? What, you know, a lot of times we don't know, you guys especially don't know how much it costs to clear up all this or hire lawyers, things like that. Do you have any thoughts?
A good lawyer for a drunk driving case, and I can name like 4 or 5 pretty good lawyers in our area that will represent you for a straight drunk driving case for $5,000. They're going to probably get a victory for you for $5,000, I'll be honest. Now you're adding the homicide aspect of it. I bet it goes up to about 15 to 20. That would be my guess. You know, and obviously insurance and stuff, that's another whole thing.
So given all this, I mean, what more takeaway kind of things would you want to say to this fine young group here?
I mean, I think, listen, I mean, you guys know me from health class, right? This was a little more serious side of me. That bothered me out there. I was sweating. Nick was shaking because I think we had some, and the captain spoke about it, we had some flashbacks, you know. There's a little bit of post-traumatic stress involved in our job because we've all been to those situations. And I think, for me, it brought flashbacks. And, you know, I guess we do this just because we don't want to do it again, although we know we're going to. We say it can't happen here, right? You always hear people say that on the news. It never could happen here. And I hope that's the case, and that's why we do it. I think it means a little bit more for me now, having 4 young kids. And now, you know, they're a lot younger than these guys, right? But they're going to be teenagers someday. And your parents worry, and I understand that. I guess the biggest thing that I want to take away from it is, and I say it in health class, right? Looking out for yourself first and your friends, right? You got to take care of yourself first. That's the bottom line, right? Know the situation and use good judgment. But then you got to look out for your friends, because there's always going to be that kid that thinks he's fine, like Nick, and gets behind the wheel of the car. So you're at the party. Somebody saw Nick do 3 shots and drink 2 beers. He probably shouldn't be driving. Basically, drunk driving for someone under 21 in Massachusetts is basically, could be just a beer. Don't quote me on that, but it doesn't take a lot. Very, very low alcohol percentage it takes. But for Nick, y'all were at the party. And I advocate for this. Do something about it, right? Take him down. Tackle him. You can quote me on that, all right? I don't care. Punch him. Do something. Throw his keys away. But there's going to be that stubborn SOB who just like, oh, I'm fine, I'll get behind the wheel, I'm fine. And listen, I was in high school. A lot of my friends rolled the dice. We got lucky. Well, you know, let's not make it about luck. Lastly, back to the lives being ruined, as Captain said, we do know first. I grew up in Northborough. I went to school here. I went to church in town. I knew a lot of people. But when I first got on the job 18, 19 years ago, when I was in uniform, I went to too many bad car accidents, fatals. When I was the school resource officer, we had a fatal accident probably over 10 years ago now, and the first arriving officer said to me, because I was the school resource officer, they're like, hey, Griff, they go, you probably know this kid. Can you identify him for us? Because he was hanging from a car, dead. And I said, yeah, that's so-and-so, right? That's him. And then I remember being the first one on a scene up on Upper Howard Street in Northborough, up by Moore Lane. That used to be a famous area. People go do burn rides and smoking weed up that way. I was the first one on scene on a fatal up there of a kid who I went to school with his brother. I knew his parents, the Capellos. Great people, and their son was what we call DOA, dead on arrival. And I had to go to that house to change lives. I remember driving to their house early Sunday morning, like 4 a.m., and it's the worst job in the world, because as I'm slowly walking my way down to change lives, I think of their son as a young kid. All those flash, think of him when he was a baby and watching him grow up and playing soccer. And my hand is about to hit their door, right? That's the worst knock at 4 a.m. When someone walks down and looks out the peephole or whatever, and they see this. They don't, we're not there usually to spread good news. So I did, and his sister opened the door. And I knew her, and I said, "Where are your parents? We got to talk." Oh, they're away for the weekend. So I had to go in and explain what had happened to her, and I had to call the parents. And we try not to do a death notification over the phone. It's not the proper way to do things, but they were out of town. It was my only option. So to this day, I have flashbacks of several kids that I've dealt with that have passed. The smell is still there in my head. I can remember the smell of the car accident, the airbag deployments, the oil, the visual of a kid hanging upside down, dead, the visual of the pain of seeing the parents, and when I see them to this day, we have that everlasting connection, that bad connection. So we tell these stories. It impacts us. It impacts our community. Most of these things can be prevented. Use good judgment. Look out for yourself and look out for each other. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much, guys. What we're going to do now is we are actually going to talk to each of our participants about how they felt during this time. I'm just going to first introduce everybody. So this is Evan, Colin, Leanne, Catherine, Alyssa, Lauren, Annalise, and Nick. Please give them a round of applause. Okay, so I'm going to ask this for Nick, also Annalise, and Lauren, and Evan. Okay, and I'm asking you these questions because, one, Nick, you were arrested. Annalise, one of your closest friends, just died. And then Evan and Lauren, because you were taken out by an ambulance. So you're severely injured. So my question is, what was this experience like for you?
I mean, at the same, while preparing for it, honestly, it was fun. It was a good time. We prepared, and we became closer as a group. And, we kept saying, when it happens, get in the zone, obviously, and it's going to be real. In the moment, it's going to be real. And as many times as we said that, it didn't resonate until it actually was happening. I was talking to Detective Sergeant Griffin after the fact, and he could tell that, I was shaking, and I was obviously nervous. But I wasn't nervous. I was telling Muzzy when I was in the police car with him. I was telling him I wasn't nervous because of acting. All of us have acted before in front of larger groups than this. So the acting wasn't really the thing that made me nervous, but just the whole situation. Yeah, it's obviously not real. Obviously this was just a simulation. But being a part of it and knowing deep down that I caused all of that, specifically for me. I mean, it was something that I've never felt before, and I get choked up just talking about it because it was probably one of the most emotional things that I've done, and it was really hard. But I mean, I'm glad I got to go through it, and I'd just like to thank you guys for making it possible, because we can act as much as we can, but without you guys, obviously the impacts wouldn't be there. So thank you guys, and thank you, Ms. Hodgkin.
So I can tell you, for me, that was not acting. I'm sitting in the back of the car. I see all my friends have their blood. We're all gross. And I hear the sirens come on, and I don't know what, but something switched in my head, and I started shaking. I started crying, and I was like, this is so real. And it's so crazy that just like that, this kind of thing can happen. And I want none of you to ever, none of you ever please get in a car where this might happen, okay? I don't want any of you to be looking like this or to be dead under that white sheet, because seeing my best friend under that white sheet dead and they're not letting me go see her or talk to her because she's not going to respond to me. She's dead. And she's the oldest of 5. Her 4 younger siblings will never see her again, all because this kid, was like, oh, let me just have a few beers and I'll smoke a little. No, guys, I'm fine. Oh, yeah, party. Let's go to the next party. No. And it's so easy to just get behind that car or get in that car. And when you wake up in the morning, you don't know what's going to happen that day. Alyssa woke up. She didn't know she was going to die. I woke up. I didn't know my best friend was going to die, or that my friend was about to get behind the wheel and kill my friend. It was very, very powerful to be a part of. And I just don't want any of you to ever be in this situation ever. So, thank you for listening.
There was nothing that was, sorry, my voice is really gross right now from screaming, but there was nothing that was telling my body that this wasn't actually happening. While we were sitting there listening to the recordings, I was kind of getting myself in the zone. And it was a little more pressure than a normal performance, because, you're this isn't just a show that people come to because they want to. And I felt the pressure to make it good and to make it look real and to make an impact on people. And I was sitting in the back of the seat and I kind of put my mind in a place I was like, okay, I can't move my body. My head will stay like this. My arms will stay like this. What do I do now? And as soon, like they said, as soon as I let out that first scream, my body started violently shaking. There were tears just coming down my face, even while I broke character for a second, to ask one of the firefighters if I could take my glasses off. And then as soon as I snapped back into it, the tears were just pouring. I was shaking. And while he was doing a test, he kept squeezing my arms and asking can you feel this? I almost felt like I couldn't even move my arms. And I couldn't even move my legs. And it was absolutely terrifying. And when they put the sheet on me, and I just felt all the glass just shoot at my body all at once. It wasn't real, but I don't want anyone to ever have to do that. And I don't want anyone to ever have to look and say that they killed someone's friend, or that they killed their own friend, or that they had to watch someone die in the backseat of a car. I don't want that to ever happen to any of you. And so I hope that, this was, like Nick said, we had a lot of fun doing this, but as soon as we sat in the car, when they pulled them in this morning, I was like, oh my God, this is so real. And so I hope that that you look at us and we can give you something that's fake to teach you why not to never do something that will be real, and it will be real forever.
So I know we always are told not to drink and drive and stuff like that, and we kind of dismiss it because it's normal to us now. But being in the experience and everything, it's scarring. Nobody will understand, and I hope nobody does experience this, because you have absolutely no control over everything. You put your lives on the line, and when you don't have to. And there's so much life ahead of us, and to threaten that, there are no words to describe how bad. And yeah, so I feel like we were rehearsing it for a while and everything, but then when it actually came, something switched in me, and I didn't know what to do. I was just sitting there. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. And I had Leanne screaming next to me, and I honestly, it was petrifying. So yeah, I hope nobody has to experience that, and I'm glad this one was fake.
Thank you. Okay, Alyssa, can you share some thoughts or reactions about being the victim? You were dead on arrival.
Yeah, so when I was laying in the car and everything started to happen and the sirens came and everything started to get loud, it became real to me, and I was like, what would it be like if I was actually dying, if I was actually dead? I would never get to finish the rest of high school, prom, graduation, college, never get to see my siblings, my family, friends, my younger brother. I was hearing people screaming, calling my name. People were tapping me, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I couldn't do anything about it because I was dead, and death is final. There's no coming back from it. And it was scary. It was emotional. I was completely shaking. And when they put the sheet over me, I was just dead. It was crazy. But yeah, it's insane to think that a drunk driver could make this happen and that this could have been real in a split second. So.
Thank you.
Well, you said you wanted one more thing, and then I do want to get in. I want to leave some time for a Q&A. How about that? Okay.
One last thought for you guys. We talk about in the section about avoidable accidents. Accidents can be prevented. You know, we do a lot of things day to day to prevent accidents in our normal lives. What are some things that we can do to prevent these things? How many people here are never going to drink alcohol or smoke marijuana in their entire life? Okay, there's a few of you, and that's awesome. All right, good job. You guys can do something huge to help your friends. And those of you that are lying, you know you're going to end up with him. So some things that you can do to prevent it. So the reality is most of you at some point are going to drink alcohol, and a lot of you are going to smoke marijuana or do edibles or whatever your poison of choice is. One of the biggest things you can do to prevent these things from becoming a tragedy is plan ahead. If you know where you're going and you know where you need to be at the end of the night, make arrangements for a ride. For those people that are really not going to drink and not going to use marijuana products and stuff like that, have them be your ride for the night. Doesn't that make sense? All right? The other things you could do. Who here has a cell phone? Anybody? Right? So all of you will have a cell phone at one point if you don't already. You're going to have apps, Uber, Lyft, all the taxi services, public transportation, the MBTA, you know, all these things aren't available necessarily right now in Northborough and Southborough. A lot of them are, especially the app-based ones. You can get a ride, and it's super cheap. All right, we're talking about $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in court, legal, and lawyer fees versus a $5 or a $10 ride. You know, use some common sense. Doesn't it make sense to have a sober person drive you home? What's the biggest inconvenience? You may not have your car until the morning, so get a ride back there when you're sober. Walk. You know, there's plenty of people. I'm sure your parents would be a lot more happy to have you dropped off in the evening by a safe, responsible driver and to have to go pick your car up the next day than to have him come knocking on their door in the middle of the night. All right, does that make sense to everybody? Then you don't have to not drink. You don't have to not use marijuana products. Whatever it is that you're probably going to do anyway, all right, just be smart about it. All right, it would be great if everybody could say, I'm never going to drink, I'm never going to smoke, and I'm never going to drive when I'm like that. That's not the reality. But some real things that you can really do is get yourself a safe, sober driver. Okay?
Thank you. Before we answer questions, Leanne actually had one thing she wanted to say.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hey. I guess, like, if there's one thing that really stuck out to me, I felt like I had to share it with you guys. Yeah, obviously it'd be really tough on the people like truly involved with the crash at the scene, but what you also have to think about is in the scene, I guess, or recording, Colin said that he texted his parents that he was on his way home. And unfortunately, like for Alyssa, like she's never gonna make it home. And her parents aren't.
Dog won't know why you never came home.
Mm-hmm. Like your parent is gonna sit at home, gonna get that text, think everything's fine, see you in like 20, 25 minutes or less, more, whatever, but that's just not gonna happen. You're not gonna show up. That parent doesn't understand right away that something has happened. They're gonna be sitting at home watching the news or getting ready for bed or whatever, thinking that in a couple minutes you'll be walking through the door. And what they don't realize at that time is you're actually in a car crash, you're injured, you are possibly dead, you are now gonna have emotional problems probably for a very long time. And obviously you have to think about how you're gonna feel and like what's gonna happen to you, but while you're about to put yourself in a situation, you also have to think of the effects it's gonna have on not just you, but the other people that are gonna be involved, like family, other friends, people that you care about. Like it's so much just related to you and other people, and that's something that you have to keep in mind. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify what Captain Sadowski was talking about is obviously if you decide to use alcohol or marijuana, you would be 21, correct? What we put on today could maybe have sparked some emotion or whatever to you, and I want to give you guys some time to ask any questions of all of our wonderful people up here, if anybody has any questions. You know, one thing is I've known, as Detective Griffin said, some of you may have already had something like this happen to somebody in your family or somebody you know, and we want you guys to know that if this has brought up anything, people are here available for you and guidance and all. But, you know, we also like you to sort of think about what happens as you start going to prom, graduation parties. And one reason why we do this for our juniors is you now are all, a lot of you are starting to get your license or have had your license long enough that you now can be driving other kids. And this is the time where we do start seeing this more and more. They're quiet, Miss Hodgkin.
I get, okay.
I can speak pretty loud. How did you guys prepare for this kid? And I think officers, it sounded like you guys were having a lot of fun in preparing for it. Were you trying to encourage them to take it a little more seriously?
So to start out, we all got called down to guidance quite often enough that I think people were thinking that I had issues, but it's fine. And well, we never actually ran through it. We did like a little dress rehearsal today with Sergeant Detective Griffin to see just like logistics and stuff. But the cars got here this morning. That was the first time we'd see them. This was the first time we'd ever put any of the makeup on. We wrote the scripts that you heard in the beginning ourselves, and then recorded them in the TV studio and decided on things too.
Like, and we talked about this like hypothetically, and it was kind of like all fun and games. Like I remember a few moments where like, oh, Alyssa, you're gonna die. And it's like, it's funny in that moment. It's funny when you're writing the script and you're writing things like, I'm gonna get drunk and high, because like no one's gonna say that in real life. And then, but when we actually got to the crash and you hear all of your friends screaming and crying, and like I remember when the cop was walking me towards the cruiser, and I just walked past like Leanne, Colin, and Annalise, and they were all looking at me with like hatred in their eyes. And like it's not real, I shouldn't be feeling guilty, but that made me feel awful. And I'm stuck in this cruiser and there's no like handle and I can't get out and I can't see what's happening and my friends are screaming and crying, and it's just so overwhelming and when it really happens.
Thank you. We are almost running out of time, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have Task. They're just going to talk to you real quick.
So I know that hopefully had a big impact on some of you, if not more. But if you guys are interested in helping out next year, getting involved with any of this, definitely go talk to your guidance counselor and tell them you want to join Task. So,
thank you, guys.